Hello, folks. So I'm going to do some more speaking about silence. Um, when you silence your mind and when you silence your words, um, and I'm talking about not when you're communicating with other people, um, it's tough to really describe it because um, when you silence your mind and your words and basically only use your words in order to speak with other people to convey messages to other people, what that silence does, like if you when you're alone and your mind is blank and everything, what it does is it puts you in a very primal state that you kind of feel how the animals feel, or at least how I imagine most of the animals feel, because they're completely silent most of the time. I mean, of course, they bark and whatever, or whatever noises they make. But animals are much more silent than people are. People are talking all the time, and internally and externally. So when you just cut down how much you use language and use it really mainly only as a communication tool rather than something that you're constantly mulling over, constantly thinking about, it puts you in a very primal state and it makes you feel like how most of the animals may feel. And this is a very natural feeling. It feels very comfortable and natural and familiar when you do it. So I think this is really one of the main purposes of it, is because it kind of puts you in alignment in a way. Um, it's just like it makes you realize, oh, I don't need all these words. I don't need all these fancy words all the time. Um, like, for example, one thing that used to hold me back from this is an obsession with ideas. I was always looking up new information, spiritual ideas, or whatever kind of ideas and opinions, and thinking about those ideas and thinking, oh, okay, thinking like, oh, okay, I'm learning from these ideas, I'm learning from these concepts or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that, but when you move past the concepts and move past the information and just kind of forget about language entirely for the most part, use it to communicate with other people, but as far as mulling things over yourself, you just kind of become silent. It has this feeling of just peace, and it's just how it feels like the mind, for me at least, it feels like this is how the mind is supposed to work. And I'm not saying you can't think about anything, but I'm saying minimal thinking, and it just kind of puts you in a state that is a beautiful, beautiful state. I think people have gotten obsessed with words and concepts, and I need the words for all these things. And although words are a useful tool, it's kind of taken over the mind, and it's just strange, We're always talking, and we're always thinking, and just taking over the mind. It's because a lot of us maybe feel like we can gain something from the words, and that we even identify our own personality with the words rather than with the silent being, the silent self. If you think about it, if you take away the words, a lot of us might be like, oh, well, then who am I without the words? I mean, the words are me in a way. My personality is in the words. What about who are you without words? It's a lot tougher to think of, to define yourself without words. And the thing is, you don't even really need to define yourself. Um, but yeah, I wanted to share this. I don't know if this is really anything valuable, but I've just been feeling so much peace and so much in alignment with how a human is supposed to naturally be from experiencing this silence most of the time. It's not complete silence. I'm not taking any kind of thing of silence where I'm not talking to people, but it's just only using words when necessary, not using them to constantly mull over this or that, or even this idea, that idea, learning this, learning that. It's just being in, use words when necessary, but in the natural state of just being, you really don't need any words, and you can just feel that peace of, and you feel like what a human is supposed to feel like. All right. See ya.